very good evening and welcome to The Big Picture. I'm Tracy Shilshi, and today we're taking a closer look at the World Bank's latest list of countries on ease of doing business, where India has climbed 12 spots to 130 among a total of 189 countries. How significant is this for the Narendra Modi government that has been feeling the burn on the reforms path, and has the situation actually improved on the ground? Joining us this evening on this debate, we have the BJP's national spokesperson, Gopal Krishna Agarwal. We also have senior economist Mohan Guruswamy, and in studio we have senior journalist Priya Ranjan and K.K.Mital, who is the Vice President of Venus Assets Finance. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. If I could come to you first, Mr. Agarwal, this must be quite a relief for the government, of course, considering, like we're pointing out, how much burn it's facing on the reforms path.
Yeah, definitely, because it is the cumulative effect of the effort of the government over the past 1.5 years. And if you see, it is this report covers quite a large segments of the economy. It covers almost 10 major, being credit availability, infrastructure, enforcement of the contract, and electricity availability, transparency, corruption-free environment, getting clearances for the project, and therefore it is a very well documented and very well covered report. And on this basis, the sentiment of the world investors is dependent. Therefore, what we were looking for, an FDI from the foreign countries, and at the same time an improved sentiment for the domestic and manufacturing investors on the manufacturing segments, to have a participative in the economic development and infrastructure development and various activities which act as a catalyst to the economic development. So I think this is the focused approach of the Modi government that is seeing this report into culmination of this report.
All right, Mr. Jaitley, of course, saying that by next year, the rankings, of course, would get better. Mr. Dash, we're also talking, of course, how on the ground things are actually, are they the way the report, the project, of course, says. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the project did focus on just 2 cities, was it? Delhi and Mumbai, was it? And does this then, in a sense, give a sense of how actually business is going ahead in the rest of the parts of the country?
That's right. The report focuses on Delhi and Bombay. And as a representative city, you see, they have the criteria of countries that exceed a certain, I think 100 million population. There they are taking 2 places, and countries which have less population, they're just 1 place. And in India, even today, although India is not Bombay and Delhi alone, but businesses,
yes,
most businesses still get done out of these 2 cities. So it is quite representative in that sense. So that way, it is a reflection of the ground reality. And the other thing, of course, is that although it is showing a 12 place improvement, in actual thing, it is just an improvement of 4 places.
4 spots.
Because last year, as per the revised parameters, the ranking had improved
risen anyway. India had already come
from
to
142, it had come to 134.
Yes.
And so, but this is not for 1.5 year of work that has gone in. In fact, the report is only up to June 1st.
Yes.
So this is just 1 year of, I would say, of the Modi government. And it doesn't take into account developments positive, which have happened after June 1st. Having said that, I would say that India had a chance of actually doing much better and could have actually breaking into 100 this year itself, had the government been more proactive in implementing the steps that it had proposed in the beginning. So from that point of view, if you look at it, the 1.5 year, I would say, is a lost opportunity.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Mittal, do you agree with that? How much do you credit actually to the Modi government of this rise? And are you hopeful of what Mr. Jaitley is saying that by next year we're going to be seeing the rankings, of course, going much higher?
See, I would rather, give a little broader picture.
Yes.
On the first occasion, this is the initiative of any government for reform. Reforms into systems, into sanctions, into regulations, into transparency, into governance. And then the campaign, the whole campaigning involving people, including people, masses, though it has to happen, but initiative has been taken by the government. And not on an individual basis, but on the totality, involving several ministries, government officials, making things transparent, understandable, creating online systems, procedures whereby filling up application forms, documentations are made simpler. And ultimate goal is to achieve 50 points, jump to 50, in the queue, in fact.
Yes.
And in the process, a lot of simplifications need to be done. Tax laws need to be transparent, redefined, and that is the commitment of the government, and that is the initiative of this government. Even retrospective taxation policies is to be removed from the system. All these fears, transfer pricing, is to be removed. Inspector Raj is to be simplified. Simply inspectors visits the factories or the houses and just their job is to collect money, that's it. So all these initiatives are to be made simpler. Procedures are to be laid down, well defined, so that there is a citizen charter which is available on the various sites, so that the people know, the citizen know their rights and
Yes.
what they are expected to do, how to fill up the form. So I think this is a broader initiatives involving each and every department of the government, ministry of the government, and the people at the same time.
All right. If I could come to Mr. Guruswamy, what would you say, were some of the key highlights that the World Bank, of course, focused on? And according to you, are we seeing actually these measures being implemented on the ground?
Well, I'll tell you, for a start, there's a huge difference between what the government is claiming and what has happened in reality. The government has claimed an improvement of 12 places, whereas in reality, the improvement has been only 4 places.
Yes.
The government said from 142 to 130. The World Bank says from 134 to 130. Now, there are 10 parameters which are measured, and of this, only one parameter has shown significant improvement, that is getting electricity. And one parameter, that is getting credit, has worsened by 6 points. Now, all other parameters remain the same. Now, if you get electricity in 74 days, what difference does it make if your building construction permits take 180 days to come? Because you have to take the worst parameter
Yes.
and improve on that. That has not happened. Electricity availability has gone up because there is a demand contraction in India on electricity. 56 power plants are shut down because of lack of demand. And so it's easy to get power connection. And industries are top money payers because they pay the highest rate. So every electricity board will go bend backwards to give them power at this stage. So I think the rent collecting proclivity of the bureaucracy hasn't changed. To that extent, there's been no dent on how business is done in government offices and how easy it is to do business. If it takes if you're 183 in getting construction permits, you can imagine what hell you go through. And you can't get credit now. It's worsened by 6 days. That means you sit outside banks and keep knocking on their doors. You don't get money for it. and everything else remains the same. Only electricity has gone up. That is because of the demand contraction. So how can you call this an improvement?
Mr. Agarwal, would you like to
I
respond to that?
We have to be careful on getting and handling the spin
definitely.
on this.
All right.
You have been asking, I will like to answer this because you were asking what has it changed in the ground reality. One thing on the infrastructure side, if you see on the road construction, there was a lot of stagnated projects. They were stuck because of various clearances, financial closures and financial problems. The environmental clearances, that those have been resolved. The road construction,
I think today we are
11
discussing.
kilometers
I
a
think
day
we're today
had fallen
discussing
to
World
3
Bank
kilometers
rankings.
a day.
Yes, we are discussing ease of
Mr.
doing business.
Mohan Guruswamy, let me complete it. Yeah.
Ease of doing business.
What it has changed in the
We're talking
ground.
about something
There
else.
is,
When we have a discussion
even
on
the
roads,
ease
we
of
talk
doing
about
business.
roads.
No, availability of credit is an important area. There has been lot of reforms in the Mudra Bank for the MSME sector. Even the registration requirement for MSME sector, which was quite tedious, has been done away with. Even permissions of self-attestation and then permissions with regard to multi-point forms requirement from 16 has been reduced to 1. So startup business was a major criteria which this World Bank report takes care of.
Look at World Bank ratings.
Starting a business, what I am telling is, Mr. Mohan Guruswamy, let me complete. What I am telling you, either you challenge the report that it is not a comprehensive report. If you are challenging that, then you can say that this is not a representative.
I am not challenging the report, I am going by the report.
Ease of doing business.
You are negating
Otherwise,
the report.
if you take, but then if you, we are not negating. We are saying if you break it into segmental analysis and don't go on the oral analysis, then we will also break it into what it is done on the ground level. Ultimately, overall credit
but that is what we're looking at, Mr. Agar. We're looking at the segmental.
Starting up business,
we're looking at the segments. We're looking at where we're going right and where actually the achievements have been made, where actually we can go forward.
Yeah,
that is what we're looking at. And like, Mr. Dash himself pointing out. Mr. Dash himself pointing out that there are various.
And that's exactly.
Yes, Mr. Guruswamy,
that's exactly
1 second.
What I'm pointing
1 second,
out,
Mr. Guruswamy.
That only.
No, if I may say, see the improvement, even though it is of just 4 places in actual effect, it's significant for basically two reasons. One is that it seems to have reversed the trend, in the sense that there has been an improvement for the first time in India's rating. That is number one.
Not correct, Ranjan. In the UPA's last year,
I would stand corrected,
142.
But see what has been happening over the years.
Because from 2012.
Well, what I'm saying is
it had fallen to 142 and now it has reversed.
Exactly. So this is something I noticed.
No.
Have happened
it
for
had
the
not
first
fallen.
time.
It was 142. They improved it to 134.
All right. Point taken, Mr. Guruswamy. What Mr. Dash is trying to say, there has been some improvement, marginal at least, but there has been some improvement. We're going forward.
And that is a reversal, I'm saying.
Bijli mil jati hai.
Number two is that the news has been all round gloomy. Especially, the finance minister himself has acknowledged that the reports of growing intolerance, for instance, or the events that have been taking place, those reports have not really been giving India a good name. Now, in this midst of everything that was not been going well, if the World Bank has come out with a report which shows that there has been some improvement, so I would say that is significant. But the main thing that India should look at, you see, investors don't really look at this World Bank ease of doing business to come and invest at a place, because the investor know much better. It is actually meant as a benchmark report for policymakers around the world and countries to compete using this as a benchmark. So this is more for the policymakers than actually for investors or entrepreneurs to come and take their business decisions. I don't think business decisions are made on the basis of this report.
Yes.
That is the point. But what is more important is the initiative that the government took of identifying 98 steps that are required to be taken, mostly at the level of the state governments. And we had an assessment of the progress that has been made in this direction very recently. And in that progress, it was we saw that only about half a dozen states have tried to move in that direction in terms of implementing some of those 98 steps. And the best performances were actually 50% of those steps getting implemented by half a dozen states. Now, that is not really good news in terms of the pace at which we are moving, in terms of easing the business environment. This is essentially, we are talking about the regulatory environment, and here the government, as I was pointing out, the government, had it been more sincere in implementing what it had proposed to begin with in 2014 itself, then during this year, for instance, GST, and we talked about predictability of the tax system.
Yes.
There were many, and the government had talked about new business laws, which would if you look at construction is a sector, and there you have since they have taken Delhi and Bombay as the two samples,
yes,
that naturally accentuates the problem, because it's not easy to get clearances in Mumbai to do construction, for instance. It will perhaps be naturally a little bit easier at another city in India. That we know that is the ground reality.
Yes.
So construction, for instance, which takes 180 days, like what Mohan was pointing out, that's actually an underestimation. We know that it takes years. It's the constructor, the people building it, they get permissions for completing a building for within 3 years. But sometimes those 3 years elapses before they can get all kinds of clearances that are required to be given. So the ground reality is very different.
yes,
Even then, the report is a benchmark for policymakers and those who are responsible and who have to do the job of actually easing the system.
All right, Mr. Mital, you agree with that? Is
I
there a
would
positive
again,
way to look at how this report
I
has
would
been?
again look at differently. As I mentioned in my initial comments, that I would look at as the initiatives and defining the charter and the time frame. I think that is very important, which was not even looked up and done away with by any of the government. So thinking is very, very positive. And as far as report is concerned, report is sentiment driven. There are some positivity into the system. So definitely investors look into all these positivity. I am not saying that system is very clean and but yes, initiatives are there to clean the system, to make the system transparent, to make the system work, to define the procedure. Even as far as the real estate clearances are concerned, we have talked about Bombay and all. The government has committed to do away and make the system transparent. And while passing the real estate bill, this is one of the real estate regulation bill. This is one of the demand that the all sanctions, approvals, procedures need to be well defined. So I think government is thinking and proceeding in that direction, which is a big positive in itself. Now, as far as payment of taxations are concerned, payment of stamp duties are concerned, that physical system is no more in operation. It is online. So these are few initiatives which we need to recognize, and we need to admit, yes, there is ease of doing businesses. Attestation work. Modi government has already made it clarified, and that we are going to simplify and let there be a trust on the population, on the people of this country, they can self-attest that there is no notary, there is no gazetted officer required for attestation or for vouching that particular document is correct or not. So these are few initiatives which are procedural in making, doing away with a lot of old procedures. There are many laws which are in prevalent which we don't know, and they are not operational.
Okay.
So they have already committed to do away with those laws, with those systems, with those procedures. Because one fine morning, any government department will come out and take an excuse. So what the government is trying to break the web around the system. So that is very important.
All right. Mr. Guruswamy, do you at least agree with that? The government is trying to take some initiatives, and if we could actually...
No, I don't.
You don't. In fact, the World Bank's chief economist, senior vice president Kaushik Basu also saying that this climb, marginal as it may be, it is still a remarkable achievement. Do you still call that a mere eyewash?
It is still an improvement. From 134 to 130 is an improvement. But to say, for the government spokesman, the DIPP secretary, Amitabh Kant, to say that we have reversed the trend by moving up and no country has increased 12 spots in a year, that is untrue. And this is the claim on which this government is going to town about, that we have moved 12 spots, which is not true at all. Matter of fact, that 12-point movement should be credited to the UPA government. This government has achieved only 4 points. Actually, the rate of change is actually slowed down. Now, having said that, an improvement is an improvement. But don't overclaim it. There's much to be done. If it still takes 183 days to get a construction permit, then nothing has changed. Because that is the main, you can't build a factory and you have to wait for permission for 180 days.
This is the way the system is working for the last very many years, in fact.
Absolutely.
And then you don't get credit.
What I would like to
So I think the point is that your achievement is small, and you're going to town and claiming somebody else's achievement as yours, which is untrue, which is dishonest. That's what I'm objecting to.
Mr. Agarwal?
I don't agree with Mr. Mohan Guruswamy. One thing is that we agree that there are many things to be done. But it was our pre-election manifesto that we wanted to do good on this ease of doing business, and that this is an important indicator that we have moved in that direction. We have not achieved everything, but we have moved in that direction. There are many things to come. Even you see there are issues on the taxation. We have moved
10 parameters, only one parameter has changed.
With regard to MAT, FIIs, but we are going to reduce the corporate taxation. Then there are simplification on the retrospective implementation of the taxation laws like GAR and other things. We are moving, that is important. Even on the land record,
how does that improve
Niti Aayog
ease of doing
has set
business,
up a task force
ease of starting a
which will
business?
resolve the... No, there is a report. No, this shows the government commitment that we want to move in this direction. Ultimately, in 1 year, how much you will achieve? You are moving in a direction. You are going in that direction. That is important.
So don't overclaim.
Land records are to be reformed. Yes. No, this is just who is saying overstating? We are saying from 142, the World Bank report has said that we have climbed to 130. You are saying that they have restructured the calculation. Then they must have restructured for the earlier also. So the whole ranking will change on for the earlier years also. Ultimately,
no ranking
it is
will not
important
change.
That
ranking will not change.
have moved in. No, but what we are saying that within a year, within 2-3 years,
Baba, you are on the same level as Pakistan.
Come down within 100, and that is our target.
All right.
We are going to go there. That is
so
important.
You do it and then claim.
Do
it and then claim.
Mr. Agarwal, I started by asking you, is this coming as a relief for the government?
World Bank report,
but clearly, this is also going to be a burning issue in the days to come. Who really claims credit for this climb? Is it actually, like Mr. Guruswamy is pointing out, is it the UPA government's efforts that you are now reaping the benefits
one point
of?
I want to mention further.
Yes, very quickly. We're running short of time now.
Because you can Yeah, you cannot see the World Bank report in isolation. There are so many reports. World Economic Forum has said, then IMF has said, then Ernst and Young
भैया,
report
अग्रवाल
is
जी,
saying
World Bank
there is
report
a
discuss कर रहे हैं
marked
अभी.
difference in the sentiment. So you have to see. नहीं तो yes, अब आइसोलेशन में आप नहीं देख सकते ना. You have to see all these issues to see where we are moving on the ease of doing front.
But
Business
industrial
All we
growth
can
क्यों
say
slow
it's a
down हो गया
marginal
फिर?
rise, but it's definitely moving in the right direction. We do hope it's a steady one in the years to come. But Mr. Agarwal, clearly, at this point of time, we wouldn't really know whether we have to give the Modi government full credit of this, as Mr. Guruswamy is pointing out. But we, of course, take credit of the fact that at least the country is moving in the direction which the Modi government is hoping it to be moving.
It's moving.
But for the
that
moment,
much I will give also.
for the moment, that's it on the big picture. Thank you to everyone.
See, as
Mr.
a
Mittal, very
common
quickly,
person,
yes.
as an Aam Aadmi of this country, definitely I would call it's an initiative of the government, it is a campaigning of the government.
It's a matter
and
of
we will
perception.
see-
It's a matter
yeah.
of, what impression you have in the world body as well.
Yeah,
Is that,
so at least
Yes.
we have rightly conveyed to the world
All right.
that we are reformist and we are going to reform the system.
All right,
So this
that's-
is what matters.
All right, that's all the time we have for the big picture. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you.